The clean and jerk is an explosive exercise used by competitive Olympic weightlifters and anaerobic athletes to increase power. The exercise features two fast yet controlled motions to lift the barbell from the ground to above the head. It is considered primarily a lower extremity exercise, although it uses much of the trunk and shoulders as well. The athlete must be proficient in performing deadlifts, front squats, and overhead press before attempting this exercise.
The athlete will place their grip on the barbell lateral of their legs and at even distance from the center of both sides. Their shoulders should be directly over the bar or slightly in front. Once ready, the athlete will begin the first pull, which is the first initial motion off the floor. It is important here that we extend at the knees before we begin to extend at the hips. Once the barbell has moved past the knees, the second pull begins. The barbell gets dragged against the anterior side of the upper leg, at which point the hips will extend, exploding the barbell upwards. From there, the athlete should be using their trapezius muscles to accelerate their body under the bar, where they will catch the barbell in a front rack position. It is important that feet are flat on the floor and that the back is straight. The athlete will then stand up using their knees and hip extensors. During the setup for the jerk, the athlete will be standing up completely straight with the barbell racked approximately to the clavicle and breathing and bracing their core. They will then dip by flexing their knees, making sure they do not go over their toes. This is the loading phase to help generate the power in order to get the bar overhead. The athlete will then drive by extending the knees forcefully, allowing the barbell to take flight. Segments of the body that transmit power generated by the muscles of the legs and hips to the barbell during the drive phase of the lift must be rigid or fully lengthened. Bent arms or a rounded back during the drive phase are inefficient and unsafe.
From the frontal view, it's important that we don't see the knees cave in immediately during the squat portion of the clean and the dip portion of the jerk. We also notice that the underside of the arms are perpendicular to the floor once we are in the clean, and also once we stand up into the jerk phase.
From a side view, it is important that the back stays at the same angle during the entire first pull. Once the bar gets above the knees is when we can expect to see the angle of the back change. A common mistake that takes place during the clean and jerk is not moving the bar on the vertical track. During the clean, it is important we keep the bar as close to the body as possible, which in this video the athlete does a fair job at. However, once we get into the jerk portion of the exercise, the athlete jerks the bar forward in front of him rather than straight overhead. If done perfectly, the arms should be directly behind the ears when in the sagittal plane.
Another common mistake is coming off the heels and onto the toes at the bottom of the clean. We see this a lot in beginners and athletes with poor ankle mobility. This can also happen if the weight is nearly too much for the athlete, which in this case it probably was. The last thing we don't want to see at the end of a clean and jerk is slamming the bar down in celebration, but sometimes you can't really control that.